Alright, people, alright. Oh, damn. Oh, we live. Where's my phone? Ya salam. Ya salam, ya salam. Un momento. Right, what have I... Just gonna share this. أسرع أسرع أسرع. Right, there is. I'm just... there you go. I take it we are live. Alright. That's what we're talking about, people. That's what we are talking about. إن الحمد لله وكفاه والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فسلام الله على القوم. أهلا وسهلا بكم ومرحبا. Hoan Layth. Bienvenidos a todos. Bakhair ragle. Khush Amadid. And people, swagatam, swagatam. Oh, almost just spilled a drink here. Right, marhaban bil qawm. How are we, folks? How are we doing? So, what's going on, man? What's going on? Alright, people. Billy is in the house. Alright. Doing it, Billy. Doing it. There you go. Billy's in the house, people. My a partner in crime, shall we say. Alright. Wasim, Riz, Sajida, ahlan wa sahlan bikum, marhaban, Amir. Right, people tuning in, the usual, the drill. Click like, click share. Spread. Let the fitan and fasad begin. That's what I'm talking about. Ya salam. Right, Frowdy Frobbery. Ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Right, alright. C.A. Solomon. Alright. ¿Qué tal? What's going on, man? What's going on? So, Momo. Alright. Our correspondent all the way from Cairo. Right, wa alaikum assalam. Fawzia, Riz, Lindsay DeCosta. What about aliens? Yes, salam. Look at that. A question straight away from Lindsay. Obviously, looking at all the Muslim crowd here, she's immediately reminded of aliens. So she immediately asks, what about aliens, people? What's going on with the aliens? Well, this is them. We are the aliens. Alright, so happy birthday, Mufti Ji. Hi, you naughty. Well, it's actually tomorrow. So, yeah. Budha gaye yaar, budhapa aa gaya yaar. Budhiya gaye, that's it. We've become old in this. Ka kare. Well, it's all good, I guess, huh? So, what is going on? What is going on? I will be taking a look at today, a little later on, the, what is it? Islam Unboxed. Islam Unboxed Part 2, people. Part 2, my review of the debate, people. And I'll be calling out any, God, look what somebody gave me. Right, they gave me this. Oh, you can't see it because it's reversed, but... I don't think you can hear it properly. It says like, but it changes it. So. So it just catches out BS So anytime there's some BS, we can just go. And the siren can just come on. Right, so it can just detect any BS going on. So people, this is a warning for any BS. Okay, it's going to get detected. It will not go unmonitored. So, right, so what's going on, people? What's going on? Do you think you'll ever feel old? Hell yeah. But I think, what is age, yeah? What is age but a number? Wait a minute. Am I using the Sheikh Umar Suleiman line on the age of Aisha thing? No, not in that sense. In that sense, it is age. But once you're beyond a certain age, then what is age but a number? That's what I'll say. And that, Your Honour, is my defence. The rest, my barrister can put forward. All I know is that I know nothing. This is what Socrates has taught me. The best defence case statement out there. Yeah, people, of course, you feel, but I think, you know, it's interesting because I think in society, the way society is shaped, we perceive age as a different kind of, I don't think it has to be felt like that, but I think so for example, people will say, okay, there's childhood, there's kidulthood, adulthood, then there's a phase where you're meant to be studying, you're in university, then there's a phase maybe like from 25 onwards, you're meant to be settling down, you're meant to be kind of embarking on some relationships, or you know, when you're about 30, you're meant to be looking for a home, you're meant to be maybe in your 30s now having children, you're meant to be, and then this societal kind of these expectations, I guess, but they then place pressures on people. One, they place pressures on people to kind of adjust to them, adopt them, but two, then if people, it limits what people can. So if a person is at a later age, he would not then want to study because he's assuming that I've passed that stage of studying, or I've passed that stage of, and that's not how it should play out in my understanding. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, look at the legend Yusuf ibn Tashfin. Allah, a hero of mine, people. Yusuf ibn Tashfin. You know, when I was, I mean, I go to places, I travel quite a bit, and I go to Morocco time to time, and I know quite a few mashayikh there, scholars and other places. But I went to Marrakesh, and I went to visit the tomb once of Yusuf ibn Tashfin. And it was disheartening to see that the whole tomb was just left to, you know, it was just nothing. There was just like some kind of like some of those tin, you know, you get those tin sheets. We just had those tin sheets up, and there was, I mean, there was like a door, and there was some lady that you could tell, obviously, she said it was a family thing, and she just cleaned up, and you could tell she was very impoverished and poor, and there was nothing from the state or anything to take care of it. And I just looked at it and I thought, damn, what a legend of a man lies here, seriously. Those of you that haven't learned much about Yusuf ibn Tashfin, you have to check out my Al-Andalus series on YouTube. And so now, in that I speak about when, because he was really one of a savior for Muslims at a point when Alfonso VI had really kind of spread his tyranny and his fear, the fear of Alfonso. I mean, I don't know if that's a name you can get afraid of, Alfonso. But it was. People were petrified of Alfonso VI. And then along comes Yusuf ibn Tashfin to the rescue. What a legend of a man he was, I gotta say. You know, he was a legend. But when he crosses over into Muslim Spain from Morocco, Marrakesh, when he crosses over, he must have been probably about, I think he was about 67 or something. And that age, wow, you know, he goes over. Allah, that is, you know, he was from this empire known as Al-Muravids, Al-Murabitun. And there's this epic scene where you have the Muslim ruler, the Muslim king, is kind of trapped inside his fortress, and Alfonso's kind of encircled the whole thing. And I mean, you have to check out the whole lecture to get the details. But there's an epic part where he's just really, you know, Muslims are petrified inside, and they're doing all of these things, and he's just winding them up, and he says to them that he stays there for like 2 months. This is like a historic fact, and he's like razed the villages to the ground that are surrounding villages, and burnt them, you know, looted them, destruction, and then he writes to the Muslim king inside, saying, well, do you want to give up the city? Because he says, you know, the flies out here have started to bother me. You know, knowing that inside these people are petrified, that there's probably shortage of food, maybe, I don't know, drink, there may be disease, because what people would do in the past, they would throw in dead carcasses and things like this to spread disease inside. So there's all this kind of fear, and he's writing that, you know, I tell you what, do you want to let me in? These flies have started to, you know, al-dhubab, these flies have started to bother me. Meaning that's your, and then he says to him, he says, if you're not going to let me in, then why don't you send out a fan? Look at the tantalizing people, the tantalizing. And look at the offers he gives him. He says, like, if you let us in, then I will I will slaughter you and your family, but quickly. What an offer. I mean, it's hardly that tempting. I mean, you know, the guy's having like cognitive dissonance, like, should I choose? Not? I mean, I don't know. Can I phone a friend? Can I? Are there any other offers on the table here? Or so, and then out of nowhere, he gets this understanding where he writes back a simple, he flips that letter that he's received from Alfonso and writes a simple statement on it, people. Just 2 sentences. Just writes it, simple, sends it back. Alfonso reads it, gets his army and leaves. Wow! Kya scene hai? Kya scene hai? That is... and this is one of those things that, what did he write, for God's sake? I mean, what did he say? That Alfonso just read it and just said, right, we're going home, lads. Turn around, off home. What is it that he wrote? Was it just simply, did he just draw around 2 fingers? Did he put like an emoji? What was it that, what was, yaar, suspense kya hai? Yaar, ye mara ja raha hai hame, yaar, ye suspense. What did he write? So what he wrote on there, he said to him that, so obviously they all spoke Arabic, it was an Arabic speaking country, so he said, Wallahi la tarji'anna bi jiyushik, that you will take your armies back. Or, because he'd asked him to send him a fan, he said, or I will send you a fan from the fans of the Murabitin. Allah. Alluding to none other than Yusuf ibn Tashfin in Marrakesh. And that is a legend of a story. And then, because the people, you know, the stories, the tales had reached Europe, you see, about Yusuf ibn Tashfin. He was a Berber, kind of just almost like a kind of nomadic folk, but it risen to such esteem, and he built the city Marrakesh. Marrakesh was built by him, and it was made the capital of their empire. And right, so, and it's amazing, you know, it's definitely worth, I mean, I really encourage that you do either read up on it or check out my lectures on it, because there's an amazing part when he does travel across to him in the year 479 Hijri. He travels across, Yusuf ibn Tashfin does. And it's an epic tale, I gotta say. Epic, wow. You know, if some of the tales of Muslim history were to be dramatized, this was one, people. This is amongst the one. This is it. It's amongst them. It is epic. There's a point, you see, because Alfonso, prior to Yusuf ibn Tashfin having crossed the river and come into Europe, in a public sermon, Alfonso was once addressing people, telling them about the empire, the Christian kind of empire, and how they were spreading and collecting taxes from the 22 vassal states of Andalus and different places, and the power. And somebody mentioned that, oh, have you got any desire to cross the sea and go into North Africa, where there are these barbarians? And they used to call the Muslims barbarians, right? So, have you got any desire or any, do you have any ambition to do that? So Alfonso had said in a public sermon that reached, eventually, the news of which reached Yusuf ibn Tashfin. He said, yeah, we've heard of those barbarians. And he said, you know what? He said, they are lucky that there is a sea between us. He said, yaar, roko mujhe koi, yaar, roko. Koi to rok lo. He said, they are lucky there's a sea between us. Wah, dialogue. He said, I pray to God, Padre, our Father who art in heaven. He said, I pray to God that he gives us the ability to have such ships by which we can cross this sea and teach those barbarians a lesson, civilize those uncivilized. Ooh. And he said, I pray to God that he just gives us the ability to have these ships. Then you will see. Then you will see Molajat. Alfonso. So this news reaches Yusuf ibn Tashfin. So in the year 479, he crosses over. Allah, Hijri, of course, Hijri. So almost about 1,000 years ago. So he crosses over, and then they meet at this place where it's showdown, people, showdown. And they have these, obviously, their camps and, you know, the Muslim camps and Alfonso's camps. So Yusuf ibn Tashfin and their camps. And he sends a letter. Yusuf ibn Tashfin sends him a letter. He says to him that it has reached me. Look at the eloquence, people. Balaghani. It has reached me that you made dua to Allah, that he gives you ships so you can cross over to us. Huh? This one you pray. He said, فَقَدْ عَبَرْنَا إِلَيْكَ. We have crossed over to you. وَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُ عَاقِبَةَ دُعَائِكَ. And soon you shall come to know the consequences of your dua. Allah. Wow. What a don, Yusuf ibn Tashfin. Honestly, what a legend. Oh my God. I was just, from that point, I was like a fan. I was a fan of Yusuf ibn Tashfin. So he's a legend. So these are some amazing stories. Definitely worth reading. And these are what, they need to be a TV series over things like this, man. But yeah. But we get distracted. So what else is going on, folks? What else? That's some awesome kind of, I thought I'll share that with you guys. Right, so Yeah, technical difficulties, all resolved, people, all resolved. You know, as I often say, it's not the problem, but your ability to deal with the problem that matters. Right, so, replying to, that is the truth and therefore it should be trusted. Damn, what a burn. All right. Please do the 10-year challenge. The 10-year challenge. What do I have to do for the 10-year challenge? I have to show a photo of me 10 years ago. I don't think I'm that different 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, I don't think I'm... I'll get one. I think I'm pretty similar 10 years. I think maybe if it was... Because 10 years ago, we're just looking at 2009. Yeah, I think all the major transformations had happened by... So if it was 2005, then there would have been a massive difference. 2006, then it starts to merge. 2007, by 2008, I think I pretty much a lot of the changes that you already see now. So, but I'll do that. So I think I was pretty much the same. Somebody said I wore suits. I still wear suits when I go to somewhere. Obviously, yeah, I can't just... I mean, I don't mind wearing my suit and just sitting at home. I'm just going, yeah, acha. Just drinking tea in my suit. Koi bahana chahiye, yaar. I need an excuse. You know, the excuse. I can wear it and then just go up. But people say it's too much. You know, this one too much. So, but then I suppose back then in 2009 I was teaching. I used to teach in secondary schools, colleges, things like that. So I suppose I was more of that. Yeah, so during the day always in suits. Right. Right, so what else is going on? People, Brexit! Brexit! Ye ka ho raha hai, baba? Ye ka ho raha hai? So, those of you that haven't been following, so far, the government, the vote for Brexit, Theresa May's deal has been declined. She's been voted down, people. It's been called out as... That's Theresa May's offer. Right, so Theresa May's offer has been called out. What's going to happen? I don't know. It's incredibly precarious times, people. We don't know what is going to happen. I sure hope, you know, I'm a huge fan of Jeremy Corbyn. However, I'm a bit disappointed, if I'm going to be honest. I'm a bit disappointed in Jeremy Corbyn, not in Jerry, good old Jerry, not taking a firm stance, not shifting on his Brexit position, like publicly. He's kind of just on the fence. Because I know, or my understanding is that Jeremy Corbyn himself is kind of pro-leave and therefore he's not been so clear on the second referendum. But this leaves Britain in a very, like I said, volatile state, politically speaking. Now, what's going to have to happen is Jeremy Corbyn has tabled a no confidence vote. I'm not so sure he's going to get that through. I think he may not get that through. If he does get that through, then option one is a general election. I think he may not get that through. I don't think, because he needs an overall majority and that from the Tories too. And the Tories are not, even though they're against, many of the Tories are against Theresa May, but they're not in favour of Jeremy Corbyn either. So it's interesting what's going to happen from that stage. The alternative is that we put either it's a hard, like it's a no deal Brexit where you just leave Europe just like this, which is, as a country, economically speaking, politically speaking, legally speaking, it's a disaster. I mean, I don't know to what extent it will impact everyday people, but generally speaking, it's a disaster to be in as a country because you've got no deal, you've got no assurances, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. The island issue still remains. You still, as far as Europe is concerned, the Irish backstop is still there. So the fisheries around there are still part of the European customs. You cannot return refugees or asylum seekers or anything like that. Not asylum, but refugees. You can't. You know this whole thing, this immigration that they campaigned on the back of. You cannot, because you have no treaty to return them. So there's, what about trade? What about all of these things? It's ridiculous to have a hard Brexit, as in no deal. The other offer, which many Tories are actually even pushing for, is that we put the vote to the people. Whatever Theresa May is saying, the people choose either that or remain in the EU. I sure hope that is what happens. Inshallah. I mean, people, Niyaz, send out Niyaz. Niyaz Bando. Remember Niyaz, when I was a kid, a lot of the neighbors used to come around. They used to be like, this is Niyaz. It used to be like, I don't know if some of you still remember it, but it's basically like an offering, and they would get meat or things like this and distribute it to local households. So on the street or things like this. And it's part of a khatam, so Niyaz, give out Niyaz, people. But yeah, sure, that's what I hope happens. Amen. Can I have an amen? Amen. All right, so that's the Brexit situation. Incredibly volatile. Let's see. The next few hours could be incredibly vital, people. Both bhari. Maybe I should be in politics. That's how it should. If I was in politics, Right, so what else is going on, people? Okay, put the Brexit thing aside. What else? Right, I had some guests come visit me, people. Right, so I had Imran Khan from New York, all the way from New York to visit me. I was honoured, honestly. Absolutely honoured. Imran and Naveed from NYC. It was along with Sheikh Salman Yunus as well from the UK, who's originally American as well and a friend of theirs. So they came. It was an awesome get-together. Huge, amazing laughs. Great sense of humour. Obviously, corruption. You know, I have this effect that I can, like the Lucifer effect. That, when people are in front of me, corruption, all the corruption pours out of them. Not out of these brothers. These are good people. Yeah, samjha karo. Yeah, janam samjha karo. These are good people, right? So, but I'm just saying. Somebody said, is short back and sides hair allowed? Sure, it's haram, yo. I don't know, yo. But I got this any cuzzy bro. And I got this any bro. And this, I think, is not haram any bro. Any cuzzy. What's going on, any cuzzy? I don't know what's happening to... I don't know how people get that accent, by the way, or get that, it's not just accent, but that way of speaking. I don't know how it, because they can't be picking it up from home, because I'm sure their parents just speak, whatever, Mirpuri or Pashto or Urdu or Punjabi, whatever they speak. So where are they picking it up from? They can't be picking it up from the schools. Any bro, no, it's my cousin, my cousin, Kasme. Raat guznini raat. This the right. So Ismail Malik, strengthen Mufti. I love you too, yar. I love you, yar. What God said to Ghulam Mirza Qadiani, I love you, yar. Love you too. So that's the. Right, so, sorry, did I not answer the guy on the short back and sides? Yes, of course it's halal. What do you think I'm sitting here with it on display for? Obviously, it's halal, god damn it. Anybody who says it's haram... Right, anybody who says it's haram, that's it. BS detected. ما رأيك عن الشيخ محمد حسن Dadou Shanqiti, amazing scholar. Obviously, you see, people today have to understand something, that scholars from the Muslim world are of a, you've got to take into consideration their lives, their windows to the world, the world view, the upbringing, the psychosocial narrative, everything. You can't uproot them and expect them to behave like somebody born and raised in the UK, or necessarily even think identically like you, because they haven't experienced what you've experienced. You haven't experienced what they've experienced. So people like Sheikh Hassan Dadou is an amazing scholar. I have been personally in touch with him. And I think, many things he says are amazing, and some things he says I would disagree with naturally, but I think that's just understandable, and I think he takes sometimes, it's interesting because sometimes he takes very lenient understandings on certain things, and you think, wow. And sometimes he takes just such a strangely harsh stance on something that it shocks you. You think, like, what's that about? But yeah, that's just the Arab world, you see. You've got to understand that. You can't really... I think it's... You take the good, you take whatever you can, you benefit with it, but you have to, you don't... You got to be realistic. Don't start thinking now, because this person has said one thing, every single thing this person must say must always be 100% the best option for you. And especially for us in the UK or in the West. I don't think at all. I think we need homegrown scholars. We all crazy, dude. Hell yeah. Some follow-up questions. Women not praying on her period. You said women are not impure and not praying, then it's a blessing. Not impure and they feel fit and able, unaffected. Can she choose to pray? Somebody said, are they real books behind you? अबे यार काहे को शर्मिंदा करते हो? लिमाज़ा तुखज्जिलुनी? I use these to hide my stash of... This is... Right, people, these are real books. This is Al-Masalik, a commentary upon the Muwatta of Imam Malik by the Don of Muslim Spain, Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi. Right, so you can see I've just opened this to a random... it's to do with sitting in salah, okay? Right, okay, so do you move the finger in tashahhud? Go on then, let's share something. And he mentions there's a hadith, right? Astaghfirullah. وَقَوْلُهُ وَقَبَضَ أَصَابِعَهُ, and then his statement, and this is a commentary on the Muwatta, that he clasped his kind of fist, he brought it together, يعني غير السبابة, except the index finger. And then he says وَأَشَارَ بِإِصْبِعِهِ الَّتِي تَلِي الْإِبْهَامِ, and he moved the finger which follows the thumb, meaning the index finger. And then he goes on to say that إِنَّ الْإِشَارَةَ مَعْنَاهَا التَّوْحِيدِ, that some people say this is to do with Tawheed, some people say it's to do with a reminder. And then he says from Malik, he transmits that you take this out from underneath the cloak, because they used to wear these cloaks, and you keep moving it right throughout the salah. And then he transmits some differences of opinion. Ibn al-Qasim saying you stretch the finger but you don't move it. He says فَأَمَّا مَنْ ذَهَبَ إِلَى تَحْرِيقِهَا فَيَتَنَاوَلْ فِي ذَلِكَ الاشتغال بها عن السهو وقمع الشيطان وأما من ذهب إلى مدها فيتناول التوحيد. Now I know that Ibn Arabi isn't too keen on moving the finger, and then he just explains that the reason why they're doing this. And then in his other book, he's actually quite, Aridatul Ahwadi, he's actually quite vocal in condemning that, but that's his opinion. Let me just stretch out the... I gotta use that as a posing option. Right, so what's going on? I thought that was Arabic. Kya Imam Malik rahmatullah ko kya? I didn't hear. I didn't understand. Follow करने वाले लोग जैसे आप हैं. Follow. अच्छा. मकबूल जी, follow. हमको कब मालूम है बाबा. आप follow लिख रहे हैं. He said, क्या इमाम मालिक को follow? I thought, यार ये follow क्या होता है यार? ये follow आलू तो सुना है, ये follow क्या होता है? अच्छा follow. अब आप काहे को अंग्रेजी को इसमें झाड़ रहे हैं बाबा? How are we supposed to understand? Either say in Urdu or say in English. Now in between you're saying an English word but you're writing in Urdu. अब हम confused हो गए हैं. He's saying are the people who follow Imam Malik like you? Qiyamah ki nishani. It's end of days, people. End of days. End of times. It's a sign. People like me are following Imam Malik. So, what else is going on? ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Y tú, Mustafa? ¿Y tú? What are you saying about the Khan fight? I haven't actually been up to date on the Khan fight, so I'll have to catch up on that. Oh, is Imam Hussein Anwar is in the house, people. Ahlan wa sahlan. Right, so let's take a few questions that have been submitted, and then I'll later on get on to that debate as well. Why is my phone jamming? What is going on? Right, what is going on, people? What is going on? I'm trying to get into the questions. Alright, so here they are. Set a challenge. Allah sets a challenge in Surah Baqarah. وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا فَأْتِي بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِثْلِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Right now. Oh, right, the atheist Quran. Okay, I wanted to speak about this, but every time I wanted to speak about it, I keep getting distracted. I wanted to print off what they actually had. You see, this is ridiculous, right? Because this whole... I mean, I won't be able to do it justice right here because I don't have it in front of me, but I wanted to print it off and go through it with you. You see, what I can do is play a bit here for your... Gotta be careful. I don't know what might open. Oh, see, look. This is not the Quran, by the way. You see, the thing is, the actual Arabic that they go on to use here, there's nothing, it's actually quite, it's not even eloquent. But what he's doing is he's just reading in a way which people recite the Quran. So if we were to say anything like that, if a person was to say, وَإِنَّا قَدْ شَاهَدْنَا, and you're just reciting in a way anything, you're just saying anything, it doesn't, it's obviously going to sound like Quran to people who don't know Arabic or they don't know the Quran. So if you just say, like, I don't know, anything, وَكُنْتُ بِمَا تَقُولُونَ بَصِيرًا, there you go, just made up something. I was about what I was aware of what you were saying or what you were doing or anything. If you're just going to read it in a rhythm, the rhythm is not what makes the Quran. Okay, you have to understand something. This rhythm that people do, this kind of what you have hadar, or you have tartil, or you have these different styles of recitation of the Quran, is not the Quran. That's not what makes the Quran. Okay, the Quran is the content of the Quran. So you can, like, if we take a look at a simple verse that they say here. I'm just trying to load it up right now. You see, look. Damn, if I try to pause it, the arrow kind of gets in the way. أولم يروا أنهم يصارعون بالقرآن خلافا وجدلا كبيرا. أنهم, you see, يصارعون. Okay. See, now even that in itself, he's trying to say that they're arguing over the Quran. Okay. Now, even that verb in itself, musara'a, is actually to do with wrestling. Okay. That's not even the right verb, or it's not an eloquent verb to use about jidal or yakhtalifuna. For example, they could have said, أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّهُمْ يَخْتَلِفُونَ فِي الْكِتَابِ اختلافا شديدا. That would have actually been more eloquent than what they just came up with. So, right there, let me...
أَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ أَنَّ الشَّمْسَ اتَّخَذَتْ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ مَدَارًا.
See, like this now. أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ أَنَّ. You see, now that doesn't flow in Arabic. You see, anybody who studied Arabic can see that doesn't flow like that. Awal says, أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ أَنَّ. See, now there needs to be a certain amount of stops. Now, it doesn't flow. Obviously, to somebody who doesn't know Arabic like that, or to them, they won't be able to tell, but that doesn't flow. أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ. See, that's this ثِقل على اللسان. Right? أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ أَنَّ. That this part is this ثِقل. Okay? Now, but anyway, the point is, أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ. Now, this would have been easier for them to say either أَلَمْ يَقُلْ صَاحِبُكُمْ or أَوَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَكُمْ. Like, and then change that would have been an easier way for them to... This keeps closing on me. That would have actually been more eloquent than what they've said. Now, look. أَنَّ الشَّمْسَ اتَّخَذَتْ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ مَدَارًا. You see now, so what they basically... don't you see that your companion had said to you that the earth goes round the sun? So basically they've got loads of verses like this that I call them verses. None of them actually kind of have that flow, that rhyme. The Arabic is not so eloquent at all. It is Fusha, it is clear Arabic, but it's not eloquent Arabic by any standard. And it doesn't even have that fluidity of being it. But the only thing they're doing is they're reading it in such a way. You see, like that, like I said, you could just take anything. You know, a person could just, like, let's just say, tasheel. Now, let's just say this is a fiqh book, Maliki fiqh. Now, if anybody, I'm just opening it, this is to do with, I don't know, awliya, right? This is to do with marriage, this section. But if somebody just started reading it like, وَلَمَّا فَرَغَ مِنَ الْكَلَامِ عَلَى الشُّرُوطِ الْوَلِيِّ ذَكَرَ مَنْ يُقَدَّمُ مِنَ الْأَوْلِيَاءِ فَقَالَ وَقَدَّمَ فِي عَقْدِ النِّكَاحِ ابْنًا لَهَا إِلَّا إِنْ كَانَتْ مَجْنُونًا. Oh, and if you just start reading like this, it doesn't make it Quran. You understand? Just because somebody has a rhythm to their speech does not. And today, what's happened is because most people don't understand Arabic, which is, I suppose, a shame. So they associate Quran just with rhythm. And so if anybody's reading something, they just have to get a good qari who can recite, let's say, the Quran, and they read it in a style of like tartil, and people listening can't tell the difference. So they will say, we've copied the Quran. We've brought something like onto the Quran. No, you haven't. The Arabic itself is pathetic. The message doesn't carry through. There's no consistency. The way the ayat are construed, it's just so amateur. This is not anything like onto the Quran. But it's difficult explaining this because obviously you wouldn't understand, because if you understood Arabic, you could see it. So this atheist Quran thing is just a parody. It's just something trying to be funny, I think. It's not in any way rivaling the Quran, in any way. And I'm trying to be fair. It's not. The Arabic in it is poor. It's not like, the Arabic is Fusha, it's clear Arabic, but it's not eloquent Arabic. That's just the Arabic alone. let alone the fact that each one of the verses that they've brought doesn't kind of fit in with the ones they brought each before it and after. But what I'll do is I will, inshallah, try to download all these verses that they've made, and I'll do a session where I go through it. Okay, so that will kind of give you more kind of explanation. This is just off the cuff. I've just read this now, but I remember having seen this before. Okay, if one is suffering through sheer frustration, either swears at Allah by calling Allah whoa, that escalated quickly. By calling Allah a effing astaghfirullah, tawbah. Ya Allah, send the punishment that way on them. On them, send it. Not over here. Over there. Or punches the Quran. Astaghfirullah. What the hell is wrong with these people? Why would you punch the Quran? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. What is... oh, damn, I've lost the question. Where is it? Oh, no, here it is. I seriously don't get this question. Somebody's angry, so he says, let me punch the Quran. Oh. I don't understand what the divine wisdom is. This is... I mean, it's... Is it kufr? Sherlocks. Calling Allah an effing, calling God an effing, this, and then punching the Quran. Is that kufr? Nah, Baba. Nah. This is... What did you expect as an answer? Like, ذَلِكَ مَحْضُ الْإِيمَانِ. That is the purest of Iman. Is that what you're expecting? I mean, what are you? I don't know what your expectations are. I don't want to fail your what you're expecting from me. So, is that kufr? Hell yeah, it's kufr. Obviously, I mean, you wouldn't call Allah an effing this, and then punch the Quran, and then wonder how many good deeds did I get for that. Saying, today I killed it. I nailed it today. The hasanat are on lock, people. This week I can just take off. Huh? You want me to say that again? Okay. Let's try to understand what frustration brother Hez Jamrock is going through. Right? Is that his question? Where is it? Hez Jamrock. What could this mean? What could his question mean? Robin had said, who does that? You see, I don't understand what that means, but the only thing I'm understanding about the swearing, I don't know about punching the... I don't know why somebody would just punch the Quran, unless you mean they didn't know, like, let's say they just punching something and they happen to also punch the Quran. Like, you know, they're just angry, so they're just throwing things. Let's take that scenario. So somebody is angry, you know, he's like, oh, you know, oh, he's going through a tantrum. He or she. Nowadays there's gender equality, people, gender equality. He or she is going through a tantrum. They're like, oh, how dare you, oh, throw the books. So they happen to throw the Quran. If they throw the Quran just, you know, not intending to, they never really thought, they're just throwing something and there happens to be a Quran there, then that's not kufr, obviously. But it's not something good, but it's not kufr, obviously. If out of frustration, a person is upset, and let's just say they out of anger just react and they swear. This is what I'm trying to understand. They swear to God. Is that... So let's say a tragedy befalls an individual, so he swears to God. Yeah, I suppose that's just probably losing, you know, like if he's like, why have I run out of protein? Tragedy. he's like, why is my internet buffering? Oh. No, people, these are not tragedies. Okay, these are not tragedies. Control, people, control. Right, so let's say a person has a real tragedy, and they get angry and they swear at God. That's not, I mean, that kind of thing, it's not good. I mean, that probably wouldn't be kufr, because it's something that the person doesn't intend, that they've just been blinded by anger. And they're just saying things that they don't intend and they don't really mean. They're just reacting. So, but this kind of anger, really, people should learn to control. Okay, this is why the Prophet said to a person when he said, advise me, give me some personal advice. And the Prophet said, La taghdab. You know, look at this. Tell me that people say, you know, oh, they want to go out, they want to preach, they want to do these things, they want to spread Islam. But when the person came, one of the companions came to the Prophet and he asked that, give me some advice for life. And the Prophet's advice was just very humane. It was just, I mean, it was just very, not only humane, but it was something for everybody. And it wasn't what you would imagine religious advice to be. You would imagine religious advice like pray a lot of nafal, do a lot of sajda, give a lot of, you know, like fast a lot, try to go on hajj. But the Prophet simply said to him, La taghdab. Yeah, don't get angry in life. And he said, okay, give me some other advice. And the Prophet said, La taghdab. Don't get angry in life. And he said it 3 times, because this will take him much farther in life, right, than, you know, and than anything else, really, than just praying and doing things. Because, yeah, anger. But yeah, so if it's done in blinded anger, these things are not kufr. That's the main thing, okay? That's the main thing. But they shouldn't really be done like that. People should have some level of control and discipline. Obviously, what example are they setting for others? If that's the... Is there a hadith to... Yes, so there is a hadith that a person... You see, so we're not talking about... this is where you are intentionally offending God, but you're doing it intentionally, but you've lost control out of anger. Then there's a hadith to do with if a person was so ecstatic that he wants to say to Allah, wow, you know, I'm your slave, you're my Lord, but he gets it the other way round. Says, Ya Allah, you're my slave, I'm your Lord. As the hadith says, لِشِدَّةِ الْفَرَحِ. These things are fine. You know, getting something wrong is fine. It's not what you intended to do. This question was where you intended it, but you were just angry. That's what it was asking. That's what I understood anyway. I'm going through difficulty. Can the married men here make dua for me, as the dua of the oppressed is never rejected? All married people in unison say Ameen. Suleiman Khan, can I lick? Astaghfirullah. Toba, 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 toba. I know this is what is it, live and unrestricted, so this is that Suleiman back who's on every week asking all these, you nutty, can I? Well, right, okay, well, I don't think, well, that's something to answer right here. Right, so what else is going on? What are some other questions? Alright, Imran Munir, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. So I was wondering what do I do for employment? A few family businesses, you know, business karte hain, business. You know, we do some business. It's the best way forward, people. You know what? Honestly, always think entrepreneurially, right? Always think in terms of business. That's my, I don't know, that's how I think people should think. Careers are okay, but they don't quite cut it. That's my understanding. That said, I do still obviously my other stuff, this stuff. I'll do time to time. I used to do a lot more counselling for people. The occasional kind of counselling thing I might do. the occasional kind of Islamic consultations I might do, stuff like that. But yeah, I've kind of brought them down a bit, but and I hope to take up the more Islamic teaching more formally, as in online classes and stuff like that, within this year. But yeah, Sheikh is teaching really a horrible profession. Is teaching, Elizabeth has asked, and you dodged my question. Oh damn, we didn't answer Elizabeth's question. Elizabeth's question was that a woman wanting to pray even though when she's on... You see, Elizabeth, because your question was about somebody so eager to pray, we thought you'd asked the question and then gone to pray. We thought all that eagerness bottled up to pray, and then you just asked the question, now you just gone to pray. Yeah. So, look, before I forget this question, let's answer it. So, do women that are on their menstrual cycles, we don't believe them to be impure, can they still pray salah? Now, what I'd answered last week was that because this was a charitable act from God, to reject it is frowned upon by the Sharia. Okay, so I would say that it's not right for them to pray if it's been forgiven for them and they've been told not to pray as an act of ease. Then it's like somebody saying that, look, it's like somebody says, you know what, I'll tell you what, you guys, you've done an excellent job, you know what, you get tomorrow off. Everybody gets tomorrow off. It's like a boss coming in and saying, you know what, you guys are doing excellent, you've done excellent, you get tomorrow off. And then one person still turns up to work saying, no, I want to work though. Which, to be fair, in the boss scenario might work, but here it's seen as like, a bit of a relax. You're in a hurry to get to Jannah. There's a story. Let me tell you a story. There's a time when, Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, the tyrant kind of governor of Iraq during the Umayyad dynasty. He was vicious, ruthless, and he used to lead the prayer.